Why not? Two words that challenge everything and can change anything. Why not help find a cure? Bring it here and even there. Wait, really? Yes, really. We're building the most helpful AI so you can turn an idea into an enterprise. Get the right crops into this box and breakfast on the table. Inspect 800,000 packages a day and help protect our power grids. Because once we turn this into that, we ask, what else can we do? Find out where the wild things are? Wilder. Spot patterns in crime data? Catch phishing attacks? Take 1,000 customer service calls an hour? Help coders, well, code. Why not?
Good morning. It is just still morning. My name is Alex Rutter. I lead Google Cloud's AI organization across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and as my European customers keep telling me now, and the UK. I wanted to start with two words. Why not? As you heard in the video, two words that are so important to the way that we work as humans and the way that we set out challenges, whether that is in business, whether it is personally, or whether the things that we want to look at for the best of humanity. Now, generative AI is changing the way that we interact with technology. And today, I am not going to talk about document AI or contact centers or chat systems. We want to talk about the big questions that we can answer with AI. So I want everyone to think bigger about some of the challenges we can address. Now, one of the reasons that we are seeing generative AI adopted faster than anything else is because it works with us in the way that we want technology to work with the world around us. You don't have to be an expert anymore. Now, I appreciate that I'm in Italy and I should be talking Italian, but we now have active translation, not driven by AI today, but maybe in the future. But one of the things that we see today, as an example, is the most powerful coding language in the world is now English. And what we also see is the fact these systems can read, that you can use audio, video, sound, images, and other mediums that help technology interact with us the way that we want to. The other thing to consider is that we need AI available for everyone. It has broken down more barriers to entry than any other technology shift beforehand. Now, everything that's come before was always the privilege of the educated, the wealthy, or the economically developed. Today, with access to a smart device and the internet, you can connect to some of the most powerful knowledge tools on the planet. And we are talking about a technology that took 5 weeks to reach 50 million users. That is 31 times faster than it took to get the same number of people using the internet. So this is not going away. Now, we've been through some evolutions, and we've gone over the last 15 months. If everybody feels tired, it's because it's gone very quickly. We've gone from LLMs, we've gone to platforms, and we've had these two words that I'm not going to talk about, because it is possible to get through a presentation in AI without saying this word in today's world. But there are three things we're focused on for the future. That is around how do we scale AI at a global level to make it in every device, every system, every job role, and how do we change our jobs to utilize it. It is around making sure that it is available to everybody and that we drive productivity gains across every aspect. Now, today I want to talk about how we look to make AI helpful. And as I said, it's not about the business today. This is about big picture. So I wanted to start with the biggest of challenges. Let's start with climate change. Climate change is something that is affecting all of us every single day, and something that we should have the ability to turn a technology as powerful as AI to help fix. Now, this video was taken in a village, Rutter, in Bihar, India. Now, sadly, these floodwaters arrived overnight with no warning to the village while people were sleeping. Flash floods have become a very dangerous phenomenon around the world and affecting cities in Europe just as much as it does in other continents. Sadly, 2 people lost their lives this night. Now, with the technology that we have, this is a problem that we should be able to solve. And we have been working by doing a number of things, by taking highly advanced hydrology models, understanding long-term hyper-advanced weather forecasting, and in conjunction with nature, we have created Flood Hub that now helps predict floods to over 80 countries around the world with more than 7 days' notice. We should be able to do more to protect human life with what we can do with AI. Now, robotics is probably the second area that most people are fascinated by. I'm sure many of you have seen the small Boston Dynamics dogs walking around outside. For me, this is going to spark a huge change in supply chain. We launched at the beginning of this year Gemini for robotics. Now, all robotic systems today, certainly in manufacturing and production lines, have been built through millions of lines of code. What if today we can ask a question of a robotic system to be careful with something because it's fragile, or fold it delicately because I don't want it to break? Using natural language to instruct robotic systems will have a huge change in supply chain efficiency and the art of the possible for all businesses that we have. And this is not just for fixed robotic systems. When we start to get to mobile robotics platforms, this becomes incredibly interesting indeed. If you haven't seen this, there's a longer video as to the things that have been used and robotics platforms being paid for. Now, I'm sure that, like Google, many of you companies, in fact, all of your organizations will feel the same, that we do our best work when we are happy and healthy in what we do in our lives. Now, one of the areas that we should be addressing from a healthcare perspective, and I believe we are going to see more advances in healthcare from AI than anything else, which is all good for us as humans, but there are things that we can tackle today. Premature blindness is a huge problem around the world, and the field of digital retinopathy is something that means that we can identify diseases in the eyes earlier, but access to treatment is readily available and able to fix these things when they're identified. However, a diagnosis is the issue. For years, we've had too few experts in the field, and now we have the ability to change how that works. We can bring the expertise to where they're needed around the world. And what we've been doing is using standardized technology and AI machine learning models to help identify more and more cases where we can treat for premature blindness. And one of the things that we are delighted to talk about is that we've just gone through our 600,000th AI-generated diabetic retinopathy scan that is helping countries like India and Thailand cure blindness earlier in the system, which has a huge knock-on impact to both their economic prosperity and the ability for people to live full lives. Now, this one is a particular favorite. Cinematics are amazing to me. I'm a big movie fan. Now, as a show of hands, you've seen The Wizard of Oz. Everyone recognizes this as the sphere. How many people watched The Wizard of Oz growing up? Okay, so we have literally almost everyone, which is good. With generative AI, one of the biggest areas of concern for the creative industry is, will it take something away? This is a particularly important piece of work because this has been done in conjunction with Warner Brothers, with an organization called Magnopus, Google Cloud, and the Sphere. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing. The Wizard of Oz was filmed a long time ago. There are a lot of people in the audience who won't have been born. In fact, most of us probably weren't born when it was filmed. It was filmed on a 4x3 camera lens, which is a very small box. And if we put that on the Sphere, it might be the biggest 4x3 box in the world, but it wouldn't give you what you were looking for. To transform content into something special, you need to do something special with it. And there were 3 challenges that we had. The first one is what we call outpainting. So I want you to imagine for a second that I am Dorothy. I know I haven't got the shoes, but imagine I'm Dorothy. What if something jumped off my shoulder, or you wanted to see what Oz looked like around me? In today's world, we have to use AI to create that. So we trained our AI on every piece of information we could find on The Wizard of Oz, whether it was a document, a drawing, a handwritten director's note, footage, old footage, videos, anything we could find to help create an image of the world of Oz through AI. The second thing we had to do was what we call performance generation. So again, I'd like you to imagine that I'm on stage in the video, and off to my left-hand side here is the Scarecrow. What is he doing? How does he act? How does he behave? He doesn't just stand there like this. He behaves in a way and using AI to create media footage to make it work and make it real for us on something the size of the sphere. And then finally, we had to make it look good. Okay? Super resolution is not just upscaling. It is about building net new pixels to fill in the blanks of an image. So when you put something on a screen the size of the sphere, it looks as good as it should do. Now, this is not just for movies. We're seeing it with a number of different classical pieces of media and bringing to life for the next generation a new experience. Now, I feel bad talking about this without having the chance to show you. Now, I couldn't bring the sphere here, but I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek of what this might look like for a couple of seconds. That's the world's first 25,000-seater cinema. It is going to air at the end of August. It will be the world's first generatively AI-created movie alongside the original classic. Now, AI is undoubtedly one of the most profound and exciting transformations of our lifetime, and what we can do with it is going to change us both societally, economically, and hopefully globally. Today has been around understanding there are three things that we are doing today that can help. The first one is around AlphaFold, the world's first AI platform that has been awarded a Nobel Prize for science to advance millions of scientists with literally billions of years of clinical research. We talked earlier about connecting fires with FireSat to detect global fires anywhere in the world to help prevent what is a disastrous outbreak for human life, but also for the insurance industry and economically globally. And then finally, my personal favorite is around the next style of learning. Notebook LM, if you haven't played with it, it is probably the biggest advancement in the way we ingest and understand information as a society. AI is allowing us to rethink the impossible. There is no doubt about that. And we have the opportunity collectively, every organization here, to improve the lives of billions of people. So I started with two words, a question, why not? I'd like you to go forward from today and turn that question into a statement in your own businesses. Why not? Thank you very much indeed. I'll see you later. Ooh.